Yes. In last class, a discussion was made that Milton's poetry or the age of Milton concerns the effect of a spirit of Renaissance and a spirit of Reformation. So Renaissance was noted of the mind, and was noted and it covers the area of working knowledge.
Cannot Sakil. Please mute your.
Mic. Yes. So we have talked about the spirit of Renaissance and the spirit of Reformation. And the Renaissance was noted in the form that it covers the area of reworking knowledge of Greek, or you can say ancient Greek and Rome. But today's class will be concentrated on only Reformation movement. Before going on this movement, we should understand the Catholicism and the Protestantism. So Catholicism is the tradition, and you can say it is a belief of Catholic churches. And Catholic Church is headed by the Pope. And Catholics may be simply defined as Christian in communion with Pope. So fundamentally, it is based on the Bible. But as time passes, the matter of Bible or the subject matter of the Bible is dislocated from its own place by the Pope. The doctrine of apostolic succession is one of the keynotes or the key point of Catholic faith. It holds that the Pope and the Bishop both have the spiritual authority which Jesus assigned them. And the voice of the Pope, either alone or in conjunction with his bishops in council, is regarded as the voice of the religion. None can deviate, none can disobey their voice. And on the other hand, Protestantism starts with the Reformation movement that erects or that erases the errors committed by the Catholic churches or shortcomings prevailing in the Catholic churches. However, you can see in the history of the political level, when Henry VIII came at the throne, he was ultimately responsible for the English Reformation in social life as well as the life of political. So the king summoned a parliament known as a Reformation Parliament. And this parliament passed two important acts. Mark it, boy. The first was the Act of Succession. The first act was the Act of Succession, and the second was the Act of Supremacy. So now come on the Act of Succession. According to Act of Succession, the child, or you can say the children born of Henry and Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn is the second wife of Henry after the divorce of the first wife named Catherine of the Aragon. They were the heirs of the throne. This is the Act of Succession. And on the other way, it may say in this manner that in particular this act, subjects were ordered to accept the king's marriage to Anne, and they can understood undoubted, true, sincere, and perfect. So under these acts, these matters can be understood. And the second act is the Act of Supremacy. This act declared that the king shall be the supreme head of the church. The Church of England. So Henry VIII was declared the supreme head, and his crown shall enjoy all the honors, the dignities, preeminences, jurisdictions, privileges, authorities, immunities, profits, and commodities to the said dignity. These are the facility under the Act of Supremacy. So remember these two acts to understand properly the Reformation. So the Reformation Parliament further ordered the closure of the smaller monasteries. There are so many small monasteries, and the parliament ordered that they can close one by one. All the monasteries were dissolved, and their property was taken over by the crown, by the king. Monks and nuns disappeared from the English scene. This is the situation. And their absence made the transition to Protestantism easier during the Edward VI time. And monks were the chief representative of the Catholic Church. It was during the reign of Edward VI that the Church of England became Protestant. The Catholic form of worship was strictly banned at that time, and the parliament made the another act, namely Act of Uniformity. And under this Act of Uniformity, a common prayer book in England was introduced, and it made compulsory. These are the events under the three acts. Number one is the Act of Supremacy. Number two, Act of Succession. And number three is Act of Uniformity. But when Mary ascended the throne, there was a swing back to the Catholic religion. There was a swing from the Protestantism to Catholicism. This sudden change of direction checked the successive point of Protestantism. The Queen Mary revoked the Act of Uniformity and Supremacy and reintroduced Catholicism. Here, religion was a vital question when Elizabeth, the new queen, ascended the throne. Within a short span of hardly 30 years of her throne, the country had experienced 3 religious settlements. And 3 religious settlements are: number 1 is Anglo-Catholicism of Henry. Number 2 is return to Roman Catholicism.
Please, just again, sir.
Number 1 is Anglo-Catholicism of Henry. Number 2 is return to Roman Catholicism. Number 3 is the radical Protestantism of Edward. These 3 religious settlements under her queenship, they passed her judgment. Elizabeth chose to be Protestant So now again, Catholic to Protestant, and brought about the Anglican settlement. A new settlement is chosen. And it was because when Elizabeth inherited the throne, England was bitterly divided between Catholics and Protestants. There were various religious changes initiated by the Henry VIII, Edward VI, and Mary I. So Elizabeth tried to erase the conflict by the settlement that was the Anglican settlement. She also restored the act of supremacy and act of uniformity, but she introduced it with some modification, and in that modification, the Queen now shall be the supreme governor of the church in place of the supreme head. The new act of uniformity introduced a modified prayer book, which shall be read out all over the nation. Now, the national religion of England at the time of Queen Elizabeth is marked as Anglicanism, and they were called as Anglican, but still some were not satisfied with this compromise or this settlement, and they started to revolt against again. And the group which attacked the church or against the system, they were called the Puritans. And let us remember, when it started after writing 95 theses by Martin Luther. And this is the journey from Catholicism to Protestantism, and after that, after that, Anglicanism, and at the latter part, you can find the term Puritans. So they were not satisfied. Puritans were not satisfied with the changes brought about during the reign of the Henry VIII, Edward VI, and Queen Elizabeth. And your prescribed poet or author, John Milton, follows the school of Puritans. So in nutshell, the story or the journey of Reformation can be concluded in this way. The Reformation was a movement, or you can say the religious movement, that posed not only the religious but also the political challenge to Catholic Church. And in particular, when they faced the authority prevailing in the Catholic Church and Puritans who perceived the errors, abuses, discrepancies made by the Catholic Church. So this is the journey, or you can say this is the step-by-step description of journey of Reformation. It starts with Catholicism. After that, Martin Luther introduced 9 theses in which he pointed out the shortcomings or the weaknesses prevailing in the Catholic Church. And after, in political level, there are so many steps in which you can assess the essence of the Reformation and the journey of kings like Henry VIII, Edward VI, and Queen Elizabeth. So these are the description, or these are the story of Reformation, and this spirit of Reformation and spirit of Renaissance, both movement influenced Milton much, and you can find in his writings like Paradise Lost, Book 1. Thank you.